All right, I'm back on live and the worst time to go on live in YouTube history. Dinner time. So if you're bored and you're having dinner, finishing up dinner, whatever, go ahead, proceed to watch. Maybe you're in a car. Somebody told me they were in a car once. Okay, great. Welcome back, Danny Steele here. All right, I want to talk about problematic entitled suburban block people, right? And like particularly, this is apple cider. Not everything has to be about alcohol, okay? I'm from upstate, so we cherish apple cider. What's up, Danny? I'm reading stuff aloud. Hello, Daniel Carly's. Hello, Ego Amo Kwashavia. In the car, see, exactly. Please, I mean, I hope you're in the back seat. Don't be driving and like and texting and listening. No, you can't do all that. I hope you're on the passenger side of your best friend drive. Try to okay, anyways, so problematic block people, right? And so I've been hearing a lot about like, and I hate to name names, I do, but I guess her name is Sydney Black. Um, um, and she looks really cute. Her makeup channel looks really cute. I believe she's in an interracial relationship as well. She's married to an Asian man, I believe. Very popular YouTuber. Beautiful, beautiful girl. She's got these natural crystal blue eyes. And she's been talked about a lot recently because the first I ever heard of her was when people were talking about her video about colorism being an illusion, right? And which is very touchy. Obviously, colorism affects so many people in a lot of ways, and people are affected by it in different ways. And then people who feel they're not affected by it at all, like, seem to have the loudest voices when it comes to the topic. But yeah, I guess she said that colorism was an illusion. She took the video down. I've seen clips of it in other people's videos, but yeah, I've already mentioned something about that in other videos. I completely disagree. I believe that colorism is obviously a real thing. And like it that's how things work. Like, that's how racism works. If you don't believe colorism is real, then how do you believe then you don't believe racism is real, right? Because it's on a fucking scale, right? Everything else is on a scale, but this isn't. Everything, for some reason, when it comes to racism, it's got to be black and white. No, there's a whole bunch of stuff in between, right? And there's a lot of complexities and nuances and things going on, okay, when it comes to this shit. So obviously colorism is real, and there's a scale and there's levels to that. And I feel like if you play like a model minority kind of role, and this is where I guess the suburban block might come into play, right? If you play that model minority role, then colorism will affect you less, you know? Exactly, Daniel. I was like, you still didn't answer whether or not you were driving, but I'm assuming you're not, because you just typed like a whole sentence. Okay, so that stayed on my mind, Daniel. Okay, stay safe out there. Travel well. Okay, so if you behave in a certain way, and there's a lot of cues and things you have to do and follow, but it also depends on like where you're coming from, right? So like if you're okay, good, Daniel, good. So if your family, like you come from a family where like maybe both your parents are lawyers, or you know what I'm saying, both your parents went to college, both your parents went to grad school, you're just saying, wow, wash. You know what I'm saying? If you come from a family where you're just wash, you know what I'm saying? Then you probably know these cues a lot better than the average Black person would, right? So I don't think it's fair for people who come from that experience to be telling people who don't really understand, what it's like to, they feel like people who live in the inner city, right? Feel like suburban Black people are performing because they're like, how can you behave like this? How can you behave this way for these people? Right. But for a lot of suburban Black people, right, this is all they've ever known, right? Was behaving like this. In sync, the puppeteer and hey, hey, bye, 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 bye. That's all they've ever known. And so it's not a performance for them. It's auto-tune. It's what they know. I know that because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it takes one to know one, baby. It takes one to know one. That's why when I speak, I hope people understand I speak from experience, I speak with empathy, and I speak with compassion, but I'm also going to speak with passion. Okay. But it takes one to know one. All right. It takes one to know one. All right. And I be trying to free them, but they don't want to be free. They don't want to be free. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do? you know? What do you do? Let me tell you, let me tell you something. I've had Black people run out of the room for when I told them shit that was true about, racism and white supremacy, right? Run out of the room. They were so upset. No, like what the hell? Like you just left the restaurant. Yo, this dude straight up stormed out of the restaurant in a huff and puff. What do you want me to do with that? You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna eat. I'm still gonna hang out with my white friends and shit. It's not my fault that you don't understand that there's systems at play and there's systems at work. Hit the thumbs up if you're in the room. I know you do it for everybody else, right? Ain't that what they tell you over there? Hit the thumbs up if you're in the room. Hit the thumbs up if you're in the room. All right. In the room. Come on now. Hit the thumbs up. In the room. If they don't know what this song is, they probably is a suburban block. Okay, all right. My grandmama would never want to hear me doing the remix of that. All right, there is joy in the room. In the room, hit the thumbs up when you come in the room, please. Thank you, I appreciate it. As an outsider, it's hard to adjust, and honestly, has made my college experience lonesome. I'm sorry, John A. Is an outsider of what? Depends on how much you love them. There's some people I'm like, I love you too much. Ah! You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I love you too much. I'm not gonna give up on it. Oh, not being a suburban Black person, but in spaces with suburban Black people. Is that what you're saying, John A? Girl, who are you? This is why you're here. This is why you're here. I'm here. Yes, it's hard. That's why we here. We gotta have a space. I love Issa Rae. She's an icon as far as I'm concerned in these YouTube streets. You know what I'm saying? She's a growing icon, in Hollywood now. She's done phenomenal things. But people love to pretend like the Black woman experience, if you're not in the hood, is this suburban experience where you're like, how do I really fit in? How do I dance? Oh my God. Like, I know how to dance, okay? Let's do it. You know what? Electric slide. Let's go. Okay? I can do electric slide. All right? My mama took me out to the clubs. We was doing electric slide when I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying? But I also learned too. I got an education as well. Hi. Hi. We're the educated. You know, people want to say, okay, I'm an educated ratchet. Okay. But it's like, we don't have to be ratchet. We are, but we're here. Damn it. We're here. And you know what? That's why I've been trying to write stuff personally so that I can share that experience. Because to me, I feel like that is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that is the American descendant of slavery, or the, descendant of American chattel slavery experience that we haven't seen yet on cinema. And don't try to write it before me, because you don't know my experiences and you're not gonna be able to do it. But I'm in the process of, I'm writing now, actually, because I feel like that's what's missing. We're not all like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm goofy. You guys can see that, okay? But I'm also not afraid to talk to other Black people. There is joy. Okay? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Let me tell you guys a story. Hey, y'all. Hey, Deshante. I love saying your name. Deshante. All right. So, makes me wish my name was Deshante. Okay. What the fuck was I just saying? God damn it. Hey girl, hey. Okay, what the fuck was I just see? I'm bad. I'm bad with this kind of shit. Because I just free fall, I just free it up. Okay, so yes, Black experience is not always just, you're in the hood or you're in the suburbs. There's a whole bunch of shit in between. There's a whole bunch of, some of us did this. Some of us did this. Now let's talk about that kind of mind fuck. Okay? Why do I have a Shiba Inu? All right. And a pit bull. No, I'm joking. I don't have a pit bull. But, like my sister, her and her husband's family has like a lot of pit bulls, and I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, they're beautiful, and she's like, they're good, they're nice. I'm like, that's great. That's great. I've been around pit bulls. I didn't like them then. I'm gonna keep my distance now. But I love them. All dogs go to heaven. Okay, but the point is, I'll take a Shiba Inu. You know what I'm saying? There's a back and forth when you're a descendant of American chattel slavery. You don't just, there's never a point, maybe you work as some babysitter and then you're put into an experience where you're in the suburbs a lot and you pick shit up, So, Jeanne, in regards to being in these spaces with these Black people that can't relate to how you fucking feel. Huh? I've been there. That's really a large part of my experience. And you know what? It doesn't get easier as you get older. It doesn't get easier as time goes on, because they don't want to hear our experience in these spaces. You're absolutely correct, Jeanne. You're absolutely correct. And that breaks my heart. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just further proof of how uneven this shit is. So if my parents didn't do well, you're telling me I can't work my ass off and also do well, but because I don't know your codes and your cues, and because I listen, I'm not putting up with it. All of a sudden now, you're a problem, right? I've been there, okay? I've had Black men choose white men, white gay men over me in the workspace. I've had that happen. I'm telling you something right now. It's sad, but it's like, where's the trust? Where is the trust? If you have a problem with me, why don't you say something beforehand? And if you're trying to discipline me, why is that the most aggressive I've ever seen you? I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm just sitting here being me, and you're, and your coworkers got to tell you to calm down. The fuck? People should be fired for that. That's not professional at all. But it's okay to act like that because for some reason, you know what I'm saying? Because why did he behave that way? Why do these people behave this way? Because they see the souls of their ancestors. They see 1,000 fucking souls looking back at them like, stop dancing. Read a book and get it together. That's what I have to say to you. I'm going to keep it 100. I have a hard time trusting a man who works for, not just with, but for an entire different group of people and then goes home to that different group of people and is never around his own people. That's not someone that you can trust. And when you realize that, and I hate to generalize. I don't want to generalize, okay? I know a lot of Black men in interracial relationships that are good men, but they have Black women influence in their lives. Black women that aren't from the suburbs being like, that's the way to do it, okay? We ain't got time for all of that, all right? That's a scary situation. And that's why I say you really can't trust the so-called liberal, I'm saying don't just get with these parties, Democrat, Republican, I don't care. I don't trust none of them. How about that? Somebody got an agenda for how you're going to help this extremely disenfranchised group of people that have been here for hundreds of years. Elsewise, I don't care what you're saying. I don't care about the, what I'm saying? That's why I said I like Elizabeth Warren right now. I think she's saying really good things. Kamala Harris has always also spoken up about, injustices, that pertain to women or women of color. But if you're not going to be specific, it's not difficult. This is a political ticket, right? You put down the points. Let's go. I was expecting Beto to come out and show some love because he was like looking good in those jeans. I'm joking, he's just a little scrawny white guy, but everyone's like, Beto! So I like to jump on trains. All right. I like the idea of he's not a Kennedy, but hey, he could start another line of Kennedy, right? Because the Kennedys aren't the Kennedys anymore, right? So they're looking for that right now. But anyways, I like Elizabeth Warren. I'm in the middle of making dinner, but I'm all ears. Oh, thanks, Deshante. I was trying so hard to not get y'all on y'all dinner. I know. And I'm waiting for the salt to get done on the steak. We're salting the steak. Once we do that, I'm going to wash it off and I'm going to run on out of here. But like I said, I want to talk about, what I'm saying? I feel like suburban Black people could do a lot more to make Black people who have come from the hood feel more welcome in these PWI spaces. And I do not feel like they've done the work. Absolutely not. I'm friends with a lot of Caribbean American women, a lot of, African American women, as they call themselves, from Africa, first or second generation, you know what I'm saying? Because suburban blocks were like, we're not trying to be attached to that, right? She's out of control, right? We don't want that look. And maybe not all of them did that, but the other ones were like doing that little puppet dance. And I'm like, I can't, I am not in sync. I promise you I'm not in sync with that. Hey, I can't, no. Every time I go anywhere, we go out to eat. We go to a party. We in class. God damn, don't y'all get tired of dancing? And be the first ones to say, I can't dance. Yes, you can. You do it all the time. You do it all the time. No one's saying you can't have a feminine voice and still speak like a Black woman. I think Crystalline Carrison has a beautiful feminine voice, and she speaks like a Black woman, right? You can have a feminine voice and be you. had to learn it the hard way. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, what the fuck? Like, where's my voice? I was like talking like this, like everyone else. So moving on from the Sydney Block situation, that's my problem with all these 2020 candidates. How they're going to approach reparations and the community. Exactly. I'm just not interested. And it's my right, if none of these candidates present to me something that I'm interested in, it's my right to do what I will with the vote. Not to have people that are on the Democratic side being like, you didn't vote for Hillary. Ah, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I don't owe Hillary or you shit. Y'all didn't come to the hood. Y'all wasn't there. Bill Clinton wasn't there. He was in the Oval Office getting it off. Monica Lewinsky. So don't talk to me about who the fuck I owe a vote to. What about all these black people in the hood? That's why Candace Owens is keeping her foot on their necks. And that's why I kind of like Candace Owens. That's what I said. I'm telling you, she got some good speaking points. Okay? Keep your foot on their necks. You're not racist because you're not in the Democratic Party. That's not how it works. There's a lot of people in the Democratic Party that are not racist. There are those in the let me rephrase that. There are those in the Republican Party that are not racist. There are those in the Republican Party that are not racist. I've met them. Good people, I promise you. And then there's a lot of people in the Democratic Party that are racist. Because racism isn't something that you get to decide whether or not you're doing. It's based on your actions that we see your character. You don't get to just come into a room, I'm not racist. That's not how it works. What does your character test reveal? Character test determined that was a lie, right? You have no black friends. Character test determined that was a lie. Oh, there's none in my town. Oh, I can't find none. But you got a lot to say about them. That's fine. If that's how it is, then why are you so vocal about them then? Why you got so much to say? Ain't met one or hung out with one or broke bread with one day in your life. And I feel that way when it comes to, any group of people. I feel like one of the only group of people that I have yet to meet is like an Aboriginal, I like meeting people. I like hanging out with different people. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to a lot of the, the PWI situation, you're dealing with, this is what black people need to understand about strategizing and indoctrination. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd love to meet Aboriginal, but I don't know if I'm going to be going to Australia, mate, anytime soon. We'll see. Straight from the outback. Yeah. Yes, I love Australians. Oh, I like their voices are fun. I don't really know much about them. Okay, so right, I saw a video about these little young. Again, I'm gonna repeat apple cider. Okay, I'm thirsty. I saw a video. Where this girl, this like young black girl, influencer, I don't know her name or her channel or anything. I think she's like a beauty or style influencer, right? And so anyway, she was invited on like a branding trip. I believe Leah Gordon did a video on this, I believe, where she was talking about how she was revealing how a lot of black influencers have been revealing that when they go on these brand trips, they've felt segregated. I don't know. I feel like they should have watched my video. They should have watched my videos. I mean, I hate to say I told you so. But gotta watch my videos, right? So, and what I mean by that is that the descendants, that's what I'd like to call us for short, because I feel like that's an awesome name for us because we're awesome. The descendants, right? American descendants of chattel slavery. They are indoctrinated to believe at young ages in school through via schooling and how schools teach Black history and American history. They are indoctrinated to believe that this group of people who you learn this history about, right? Your history and theirs, they're indoctrinated to believe that they're just as welcoming to you as you better be and have historically been to them. That is how they raised you to believe that when you were in school, when you were a kid. Because if they did not, there'd be a lot of conflict, right? You know, I remember when I was in middle school, we started learning about, Germany, the World War, right? And the kids that associated with being Irish or German or, Eastern European or whatever, right? They were clashing at that time. Black kids sitting around, right? All we did was get stared at when they were talking about slavery. We got stared at. We ain't say shit to no white kid. We didn't, you know what I'm saying? No, we did not. And you better not. But I remember, and I just saw something about this on Twitter, right? For some reason, these American kids like to do the Heil Hitler sign, right? There's been pictures of them at these high schools doing that, and they did it at my school as well. A few people definitely did that, and white students when I was like in middle school. And by the time you get to college, it's tar and feather jokes and crack baby jokes. And what are y'all doing? Sitting back being like, what'd you say? What'd you say? Are you kidding me? How many times are you gonna say what'd you say? What you say? What are you? Hit the road, Jack. Come on, man. Right. Well, I went through that, in Catholic school. And again, because I wasn't one of the suburban blocks, right? I was a target. Because I wasn't doing the dance and stuff. So it's like, well, let's make fun of her. You're always an easy target if you come from a poor inner, I'll call it inner city, an inner city Black American experience. And then you go into these PWIs, they're going to target you. They're going to make you the target. They're going to make an example out of you. It's playtime for them. They know that you're fucking confused. You have no idea what's going on. They know that you know nothing about the way that they operate. They know that I said this on Twitter. It's literally a part of, I guess it's a part of their academia culture as well. PWI culture is definitely to be they're not welcoming. Like, I'm sorry that influencer didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Like, because they're indoctrinating these young kids to think that they're just as welcoming as any group of, and be honest, Black people will put white people up above, right? And you think they're going to do something maybe similar with you, or they're not going to do shit but ignore your ass if you're lucky. If you're lucky, they'll ignore you. I'm sorry, but that's the way that it goes. When I enter a PWI experience, I don't care where I go, a restaurant, a gym, a yoga class, I don't care where it is, an art class, a theater, I don't care where it is. I don't expect them to acknowledge me at all. If one or two in a room full of people do, I'm genuinely surprised. Okay? Now, even when I was in grad school, and my classmates can say that I had, because just thinking back on it, it's like absolutely ridiculous. It really is. But even back then, my young ass self, I stood up for myself and I spoke up for myself, but nobody cared, When I was in grad school, they would ignore me, just like ignore me, like just walk right on by, like you didn't say anything, And then I began wondering, like, is this a Black experience? So I began paying attention, right? And I notice a lot of times with descendants of American chattel slavery, right, we're very talkative. And if there's a pause, we're like, oh, this is my daughter. She went there, you know, she doing this, she doing that, she doing so good. Right, pause. I saw this in a dental office, right? So I'm in the dental office, and the black woman is at the counter with the white person that's working behind the counter, right? They're not interested automatically. Like, I just want you guys to understand that they're not. I've had them be interested when they see me with my husband. Otherwise, they're not interested. I promise you, they're not interested. They're not interested, right? They're not interested. But what is she doing? Oh, my daughter, blah, blah. And then there was a pause. Okay, she could have walked away then. Yeah, you know, she grown up so fast. Yeah, yeah, okay. Just walk away, because that's what they want you to do. And you guys don't know that, because you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do it a billion times. That's how we are. It's like, no way someone could be that cold. No way some people could be a whole people could be that cut off and cold. And just like when you're trying to be nice, I promise you, way. Don't waste your time. I never waste my time. I don't say hi to anyone that doesn't say hi to me. And they can feel however the fuck they want to feel about that. But there's like a random stray, like one piece of hair that's like getting on my damn nerves. Sorry. I'm like, it's fucking um I know, and I know people, and I know they feel a way about it, because they expect my black ass in their white space to go out of my way and to ingratiate myself upon them and to prove to them that I'm safe. And I'm not doing that. And not anymore. God damn, I did it for, you know, you made Ruby D. Ruby D was the first one that you said, look at Ruby D. That's what the rest of y'all gonna be doing if you want to go to school with us. And I promise you, they never lightened up from when they were throwing books and papers and spitting that Ruby D, and they had to have security guards. I wish they had security guards when I was in these PWIs, and that's a fucking fact, because these kids really would fucking try it. I had a girl pour water on my fucking head in grad school. I know, like, it was an acting class, but like, why would you pour water on somebody's head? Like, it was like wintertime. Like, bitch, I'm black. You know, she was like biracial. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell? Like, the shit that they allow people to do, like the shit, like how I was allowed to be treated versus how everyone else was allowed to be treated. And it was funny and it was a joke. I promise you it was funny and it was a joke. Nobody gave a fuck. And if you go into these spaces thinking that they will, you're wasting your time. So these influencers went over to that little trip, Dole, I believe it was, or something. And they were like, we're being segregated. All the white girls are over there and we're all over here. And see, a lot of times they want to do that whole white male this and white male that. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't want to hear that shit. I really don't. I went to an all-girls private Catholic school, okay? And when I saw discrimination, it wasn't a white male in sight. That was fucking, you know what I'm saying? Getting treated better. Wasn't a white male in sight being treated better, but there were people that were being treated better, and they were totally fine with that. And that video of the influencer's trip shows you that. Those girls had a ball. They could care less. They were free. You know what I'm saying? They have a carefreeness about them that you will never experience, because it's based solely on the fact that they know that you're a very, very disenfranchised group. And if anything happens, it's going to happen to you. Let me tell you something. Go ahead and take a look at the videos from Australia. Go ahead and take a look at videos from Eastern Europe. Go ahead and take a look at videos from Russia. Go ahead and take a look at what happens to people when they live in a society where they can't blame the people that were their slaves for 400 years for everything that goes wrong. It's tough. It's not an easy life. Why they want to tell you go back to this and go back to that. Now, if y'all go back, this is what I'm talking about, but you want to sit there and have them say crack baby to you, and your response is, what you say? They got their own issues, but you know nothing about them. Stay focused on the narrative being fed to you. Take a look at how they handle things in white countries where they didn't have slaves for 400, 500 years. Somebody's got to go to jail. Somebody's got to be a lower class. See how they do things. And y'all just duck, duck, goose. You're it. Every time, every century, we're going to do this. Every century. Y'all ain't see Altered Carbon? I keep telling y'all ain't see Altered Carbon because I know y'all haven't. Because y'all ain't ready for no revolution. Y'all ain't ready for that. Duck, duck, goose, you're it. Duck, duck, goose, you're it. right? And like as you got older and you were playing Duck Duck Goose, you'd be like, "Oh my God, I don't give a fuck. I don't goose me, right? Because I don't want to get up and chase your little ass around a circle. I don't care." That's how every group feels about being the disenfranchised one, except y'all. Except y'all. Every time, you're it. You okay? Are you fucking kidding me? And she want to know why the groups were segregated. Bitch, you should have been looking for the smallest room available to call your own and have your own space. I'm not saying there's not good people out there. There's not, there's good people of every race, there's bad people of every race. I'm telling you that culturally, only African Americans, descendants of chattel slavery, right? You got to put chattel there because these other people will be like, everybody was a slave. Okay, we're talking about chattel slavery. Boo, 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 boo. We're talking about chattel slavery. Hundreds of years. This country. Our backs. Don't tell me I'm not feeling the repercussions of my family living in the gutter. Don't tell me that. I'm not feeling that. I had to feel it. I didn't own any slaves. And I didn't get, I wasn't in the cotton field, but I still get treated like I was. Let's not pretend like that's not happening. Okay? And you got a lot of people that do a lot of great things for people that they know don't have it equal. Those are the people you need to focus on. I don't care what race they are. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Yo, put it on their head for 1 second. They're like, ah! Oh, they take it off and they start disintegrating, right? They start turning that gray with like the lightning bolt like insides, right? Like, 1 second. I'm like, what the hell? What do they see? It was like it was like everyone staring at you during a slavery lesson. They're like, oh, y'all couldn't handle that. Y'all couldn't handle that. Okay. I'm telling you, Deshante, okay? So those girls should have known that being welcoming to people, that's a trait of Black people. That's not a trait every group has. That's all. That's all. All you got to do is do simple history. When have you ever been welcomed with open arms? I don't know when did it ever start? It never happened. They just told you that it happened in the 90s. They were like, after we assassinate their leaders, let a couple of decades pass. We won't say shit. We throw some crack bombs in there. Okay, we won't say shit. We won't say shit. Then when like the mid 90s hit, they were like, it's all over. Everyone's holding hands. And you were like, yeah, you bought it. I bought it. You know what I'm saying? 2000s, I felt like was cementing it. I was like, wow, everything really is so like, diverse and it's all about diversity. Well, that's what the media was telling you. But if you were living life, you were seeing the fuck. Like, I remember I began to feel like, is this the South? I never lived down South. But goddamn, like people told me that they're really racist down south because they used to be slavery, and I would think in these like liberal spaces, like, is this the South? Like, don't tell me this isn't like what you're telling me the South is. You're telling me it's worse down there? Come on. How do you tolerate that? I don't tolerate it. I say something about it every time. I don't care if they like it or not. You know, that's just the bottom line. You guys can see Cersei. Okay, she left. Never mind. Anyways, you know, and what I'm saying is don't make a huff and puff like, oh my God, I can't believe it. The oh my God, I can't believe it should be like over, right? They're not treating you equal. They're not gonna do that. I don't know what else to say. Right, Rodney King. And they always show that in schools. I'm like, I saw it when it happened, right? Because that's how old I am. Very, very terrible, very sad story, right? And then they would show it in schools, and then like all the white kids that were born at the same time as me would be like, oh my God. Oh, like what? And they were like, what the fuck are you showing me this? I don't give a fuck. You know? And all it did serve was for the teacher who was showing it to get off watching the black students be uncomfortable, and for the white students that are watching it to be like, one more thing that we've done to you guys. Like, my God, look at that. Jeez. And we can just beat you up like that, like just like that's all they feel about it. They're not like, oh my God, let me like, and don't get me wrong, I definitely, I get it, middle school, high school, college, like where's the humanity? Some people have found it. I've seen that. People, have gotten the message, and it's taken a while. And that's fine too. As long as you get it, I'm really good with that. I swear I'm good with that as long as you get it. I can't be around you for your transformative phase while you're in a cocoon. I can't be around you while you're in a cocoon. But when you come out, right? And when you acknowledge that, hey, my caterpillar ass needs to get in a cocoon and learn a few things because I'm a caterpillar. When you understand that you need to get in that cocoon for a few years, learn a few things, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, a decade years, maybe the rest of your life, right? But at the end of it all, right? Be a butterfly, right? Be water. All right. What Bruce Lee told you, be water, my friend. Be water. Really, truly, we got to stop with this whole, I'm sharing my experience, but like I said, I try very hard to not generalize. I think that that's counterproductive to progress and change, which is what I actively seek. I really don't want any one group of people to be, made out to be scapegoated, or, they've done that enough to the group that I belong to. I didn't like it, and I don't think it should be done to anybody else. I don't know why people are so stuck in the belief that in order for their group to get up, they have to shit on another group. No, you don't. Okay. But at the same time, does that mean I'm just going to ignore statistics, ignore history, ignore trends? No, I'm not going to do that. Right. So, like, I know my history, and I know that you're not a welcoming people. So I'm not going to go on my way. You don't like when we like, you don't even like it. Like, you really don't. Now if we were like gonna do that like on like 100, and be like, okay, you would even like that more than just for someone to say hi and like try to, you guys don't even like that. It's just not from my experience. They don't like that. They don't like it. I mean, you can like introduce yourself and then step aside and don't expect to interact with them ever again. And I've observed many times that I will never interact with them again. Right? I would, introduce yourself. You're in a space, and then it would be over. You know, and I've had a lot of these suburban block men in these spaces do that as well, right? Now I'm gonna get on their ass, right? They don't want Black women in their spaces. Why are these men more comfortable around white women than Black women? It's very simple. You're staring at them with the thousand souls of the ancestors, holding them accountable, being like, what are you doing? I see you doing your NSYNC dance. You don't have to do all that. You're looking at them with that face. They don't want that. They live in their little NSYNC reality. They've built their muscles up so that they can do this for the rest of their lives, and that's what they intend to do. Of course, no one could do it for the rest of their lives, and you always fall off at some point, and they just intend to be old as dirt and irrelevant as fuck when it happens to them, right? But I mean, I've literally seen like black men in these like PWI spaces, like take a breath when other black people have like see something fell and my dog heard it too. I always watch my pets to see how they react to things, right? Because that damn tsunami, I'm getting off sidetrack, but I'm gonna come back to it. Remember that tsunami, the last one that hit, and all the animals left. Don't sleep on that. I'm telling you right now, if my pets start packing up one day, I'm heading out with them. I'm not asking questions. All right, don't ask questions when pets or animals, when they on the move, just follow them. Just follow them. Okay, anyways, back to black men in PWI spaces. Right? Because it's going to be very rare for you to get that authentic, like, yeah, I came from the inner city experience as well. And I made it here. That you're very rarely going to find a black man like that in PWI spaces. And so the ones that are, yeah, they don't want you around either. They don't want they don't want white people to see you guys talking, because they're like, I don't want them to think that. They don't like you, you got to dance for life, boy. At that point, you a boy. You got to dance for life, boy. I don't care. As long as you dance, stay dancing, stay dancing, stay dancing. I'm not going to dance for these people. No, for nobody. I'm not going to dance for nobody. I'm going to be me. The way that they get to be them. But you don't even know who you are because you've been dancing all your 20s, all your 30s. You're done. Any man that's done that, all his 20s, all his 30s, he's done. He's not going to find that black soul again, right? He lost his black card a long time ago, right? Hey, Tiny. And it's a shame that you can't trust them in the spaces. I said, you're going to go into a space and see these suburban block men in these PWI spaces. You're going to go sit up there, right? You be like, right, this what he do. Right? He don't want that. He doesn't want it. He's determined to believe that he can compete with the group of men that are oppressing him instead of understanding the dynamics that are at play. Right? I'm not trying to compete with the group of women that have historically oppressed me. I am me. They can't compete with me, and I'm not trying to compete with them. But instead of having that mentality, it's, I gotta get me this. I gotta look this way. I gotta put my pants up to my waist. I gotta put my pants up to a woman's waistline. That's the first sign, right? That woman's waistline hold. Okay? Can't trust those guys in that space. Hey, pretty patients. I was working at a restaurant and there was a black guy there on a date, hood black guy, right? On a date with hood ratchet queen black woman. I would call her ratchet, hood black woman. She had that, you know what I'm saying? But then again, like I said, I'm hood black woman too. I come from the hood. I was raised, in the hood. Oh, thank you, Tiny. Very nice of you. Okay, so I'm at the restaurant. I'm working, right? And I got my white girl voice on because I'm trying to make some goddamn money. Okay. So, I'm doing my thing and shit. And I get to the guy's table and I'm take his order, right? And the girl that he's on the date with, the beautiful black woman that he's on the date with, starts talking to me, right? And she's like, oh, where are you from? I was like, I'm from here. And she's like, you from here? I was like, yeah. She's like, where from here? I was like, the city. And she's like, the city? I was like, yeah. She was like, what? Like, and then the black guy chimes in and he's like, you don't know nothing about this, nothing about that. I was like, oh, okay, right. Cause it's not like I ain't grow up on Conky and go on down. I grew up on Remington Street, but all right, I was like naming streets, I was dropping shouts like Avenue C and shit. He was like, he really like thought that because I was speaking a certain way, right? That he thought he was going to embarrass me, right? By being like, you're not black enough. Dun, 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 dun. People love to try to do that to me. You're not black enough. When actually I'm the blackest person I've ever met. I'm just being honest. And it doesn't have to look one way. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to shame me into acting a certain way or being with a certain person or doing things. You're not going to shame me into that. I've been too black. I've experienced too much in the name of black people. I mean, I can't be moved by that. It doesn't matter to me because people want to be like, you're not black because this is that, right? And then like every moment of my life, I still experience being treated like uber black. you know, like I'm trying to explain that to you. Like these people are not super inviting to me in their spaces, and it's not it. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. But I'm going to repeat. Suburban block people. I'm block, okay? Suburban block people need to do more to be inviting to the black people who come from the inner cities that are in these BWI spaces because they're not. They're very cliquey. They're very closed off. Like I said, I am friends with a lot of like Caribbean American people that were like, yeah, you can come over here and chill with us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they weren't like, I'm gonna hang out with like white people. you know what I'm saying? Like, and I would hang out with white people too. Like I have a lot of white friends. you know what I'm saying? Like it'd be ridiculous for me. I'm just gonna be honest because like I said, if she said it, then she meant it. My little sister told me that it's absolutely ridiculous that I talk about race. Absolutely ridiculous because I have a white husband. So I said, you gonna do it? I mean, I feel like it has to be talked about. Even if it is just the five of us in the room right now, I feel like it has to be talked about. I said, you gonna do it? If I stop talking about it, you gonna do it? No, you haven't done it. Y'all not gonna do the work. I don't get to stop being black. You think if somebody could stop being black, they wouldn't? You think they'd be like, you know what? I'm really gonna miss those systematic oppression nights. No! Okay? So don't tell me that. You know what I'm saying? That just because people take different paths doesn't mean we don't all have a common goal. And y'all sitting up here watching Game of Thrones, but your life is a Game of Thrones. And you're fighting each other instead of fighting the common cause, which is the Night King and the whites, the White Walkers, right? Which is to me the mentality of white supremacy, racism, sexism. You know what I'm saying? Any isms that are trying to exclude other people. You don't need to do that to enhance your group. Exactly. And he definitely has not changed what I've seen or been through. Okay, pretty patience. You grew up in the suburbs. And do you feel that you've been welcoming in PWI spaces to Black people from the inner city? Pretty patience. Um, Damn, what was I talking about? I said problematic Black people. What's the title? We're forgetting shit. I'm sorry, guys. I lose my train of thought. Sometimes. Sometimes I run. Can black women complain? Moving on to the next topic. Gotta wash this salt off. Damn! Sometimes, sometimes I hide. Sometimes I'm scared of you. But all I really want is to hold you tight, treat you right, be with you day and night. Baby, all I need is time. All right, like why do I know Britney Spears? If I, you know what I'm saying? Like you can you can have all different walks of life. It doesn't have to look one way. And I'm not gonna let anybody pressure or bully me into me behaving a certain way or doing shit, one fucking way. I'm not gonna do it. That's fucking bullshit because I would never do that to anybody else. Um, yeah, I just think it's laughable. Like people want to tell me I can't talk about race because I have a white husband. If anybody should be talking about race, it should be me, not me sitting up there being like, okay, well, you know what? Things got better for me. And not going to talk about how that all happened, right? That didn't happen because I married him per se, but it's a whole journey. Okay. Can black women complain? No. Okay. Um, I feel like whenever I complain about something, like my friends, like people that I actually like, friends or acquaintances or family, they'll be like, "But didn't you get this out of it? Like, but didn't you?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, how about I but didn't your ass when you're sitting up here talking to me about the trivial shit that you've got going on? Like, I'm supposed to be fucking grateful for every and don't get me wrong, I am grateful for every little thing, but like you can't complain about it to your friends. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like it's really like a mentality that's like black women can't complain or don't deserve to complain. Especially and I'm just gonna be honest, I feel like people are like, because like you're married to a white guy, you can't complain about anything, which is utter bullshit. Like, get out of here. I don't get it. That's such a weird mentality. Like, why do y'all think that? Like, to me, I feel like, what do you guys think white men are? Like, fucking elder gods or something in Mortal Kombat? Like, the fuck? Chicken enchiladas, yummy. Yeah, I gotta go season this steak and make other little things for dinner. So I'm gonna hop off soon. But before I go, Tiny says, any thoughts on colorism in South America? I feel like it's such an issue, and like race, no one except people like you are talking about it. Well, I don't know much about South America, but I do know that like colorism and racism are at play. I know that just like it is all around the world. Um, and this is the other thing that like I feel like black people like to just pretend isn't happening, right? All around the world, in countries that have populations of black people, right? The black people are targeted, whether it's all black people in the country or a very small percentage of the country is black, right? The black people are oppressed and the black people are disenfranchised and the black people are discriminated against. And we clearly know it's not due to lack of talent or ambition or will or anything like that. It's only due to racism, systematic racism, right? And white supremacy. So I'm going to say what I say almost every video: injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere, right? If you fight it, if you stand for what's right, and maybe if they saw people doing it more, then they would be compelled to do it more in other places as well, and they wouldn't tolerate the oppression that's happening to them. Um, yes, absolutely. Um, But I really, like I said, I've never been to South America, but I mean, isn't the colorism here pretty bad? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people don't understand like how nice they could have it. And that's why they think, oh, there's nothing wrong with, eating crispy, burnt ass bacon. And I remember when I was growing up, I hated meat because I was like, it's always burnt and like low quality. Like I just knew it was low quality, right? And like now I love meat. And that's because I get the best ingredients, right? I love bacon now. It's the best bacon, right? I get pancetta. I get bruschetta. You know what I'm saying? We get the dry aged steak. You know what I'm saying? And I literally eat that way almost every night. And like when I was growing up, it was like bologna sandwiches and you know what I'm saying? And it's like bologna sandwiches, spam, crispy bacon, dried out chicken wings, but I don't give a fuck how dried chicken wings was. They were still good. Okay. But still, and then like other people are over here eating all this other meat. I want the other meat. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not willing to go back. So I feel like if people, I guess, knew, oh, I've seen some of your faves are bleached. All right. One of your faves is doing a movie right now. And I could have sworn when she was a child star, she was brown skin, and it's just a lot of them do that on the low, especially the mainstream women, you know. I know I've thought myself, like, damn, like being brown skin ain't it. They really want you to be dark as night or ambiguous. They're trying to kind of, I would know, I'm an actor. Like there's just not there, if they have a you know how they like to portray black women and like that's it. So it's like hard to get that other shit um going. And I've definitely seen as the years go by that there's more of a space for the ambiguous look in the industry. Um, yeah, it's just they're so phony about it over here. They're not phony about it over there. They're like, this is what's going to help your ass out. I promise you. And that's why they're doing it. Obviously, right? They're like, well, come on. Clearly, this is what will work. This is what we're seeing will work. Look at the extreme price, and it's the same price. I personally feel the people that want to, dance, do their little fucking dance, in PWI spaces. It's the same. They're bleaching their souls. They are bleaching their souls. They really are. That's why when they get in the car, they be offbeat with the snap and you be seeing that shit, because they're bleaching their souls. So a lot of people, they might keep the same skin color, but they out there bleaching their souls because they don't like who they are neither. And that's because you haven't learned your history, haven't learned how great you fucking are, haven't learned how awesome it is to have melanin. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. Melanin, they're trying to harvest the power and the energy of melanin. When I go on vacation, they wish they could harvest the power and energy of the melanin. Okay, because I'll be out there in the sun like Hawaii, Italy, beaches, LA, let's do it. Vegas, right? And Ken be over there, right? He like, He'd be like a fucking superhero with the fucking ray of, the sun rays like coming at him. He's like, I'm gonna enjoy the vacation. I'm like, you can't do it. You can't even enjoy vacation as much as I can right now. I'm having a great time. I'm like, okay. So, you gotta know how, gotta learn how great you are and how amazing you are. I don't know. I just think that Black women are the most beautiful women in the world. I really do. But like every group of women thinks that the group of women that they belong to is the most beautiful group of women in the world. That's what you're supposed to think, but not Black women, right? Like, I wish I could look like her. Stop. I wish I had bigger lips. I never wanted to admit that, but it's true. Because I'm like, God, it's like having a big butt, I'm like, God, the bigger the lips, the bigger the butt. Whoo! I love Black women. Right? Like, you gotta love yourself. The bigger the hair. Whoo! When I see Black women in them afros, oh man, the bigger the Black woman's afro, I just salute. I just drop and salute. I'm going to stop and let her know how beautiful she is today. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Because I know culturally she's going to respond. She's going to reply back to me because that's a part of our culture. We like interacting with each other. We like smiling. We like talking. We like to do that generally. Other groups aren't necessarily like your group. So beauty influencers, now you know. Next trip you go on, plan to link up. Plan to become friends with the Black women that are around you. She's like, they stuck us together because we're Black. So, what a beautiful thing. You just met a great friend. And if one of those girls doesn't want to come over and be friends with you guys after seeing how much fun you guys are having, how awesome you guys are, you see what I'm saying? Instead, you guys were just sat there and you were so offended. Y'all could have really livened it up and you guys would have got all the attention. Instead, you were like, they're not talking to us because we're Black and we're over here because we're Black. Expect that type of behavior when you're interacting with a group who has historically done to you what this group has historically done to you. It's just common sense. It's like when you get around men, you don't expect them to be like, shh, shh, listen to what she has to say. Like, no group of men is going to do that to you. You know that because you know men. You know the history of men. You know, historically, men don't do that for women. But when you get around this group, all of a sudden it's, why don't they want to be my friend? Take a guess. And I don't care how many of them slide into your DM talking about some, I like brown, I like chocolate, and I like this, and I like that. Okay, one, like I said, don't fall for some guy that's like calling you a bunch of fucking, food names. But also, I've been said that in other videos, and I'm just going to sidebar real quick. I also feel like people have stolen a lot of stuff from my videos and nobody's giving me credit because people will be saying the shit that I said years ago. I'm just keeping it 100. But all right. I mean, I'm not saying I come up with everything, but I'm just saying I was just in topics that people wasn't addressing years ago, but nobody gave a fuck. Okay, whatever. Okay, so anyways, you don't know your history. You wouldn't go to Japan and go to someone's house and walk in with your sneakers on. That's not what they culturally do. It's not culturally allowed. That's all. That's all. Cultural differences. So like I said, let these dudes be coming in, sliding in the DMs. Oh, I like chocolate, I like marshmallow, caramel, all these different candies. I like candies. Right? That's great. But like, is he going to vote in your interests, in the interests of your children? Is he going to protect you from his passive aggressive racist family members and their microaggressions? He's not ready for that. He's not ready for that. All he knows is he likes Black girls. Nobody's ready for shit because nobody's reading and nobody's researching in America. And everyone's sitting back and letting themselves be told whatever it is people want to tell them. And I speak from experience. I wish I had known things before I went into a lot of situations that I went into. There's nothing wrong with saying that Black people are a welcoming group, more welcoming than a lot of other groups that they're going to interact with, and understanding that they don't need to overexert themselves. You're new in a group. You know what I'm saying? As a Black person, you know, hey, if I'm doing a yoga class and it's all Black people and I see someone from a different race come in, I'm gonna make them feel welcome. That doesn't go through their head. That doesn't go through their head. So move along. You know what I'm saying? So just put your mat down, sit down, and face forward. Somebody might say something to you. Good for them. Then you can start talking, right? But don't be, hey, hi. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. And it's not going to change anything. It's not going to increase any feelings of endearment toward you. It's not going to make them more welcoming to you. You just have to understand that's how they are culturally. And they do it with everyone. They do it with themselves. They really do. Like that's how they are culturally. You might have people from different families, right, that are welcoming. Like, oh, I know I have a lot of, like I said, I have a lot of white friends. And they and or their families are very welcoming. But I've met a lot of white people, right? Like I've got a lot of white friends. I got a lot of Black friends, right? But I've met a lot of white people. I've had a lot of white friends. Okay, they're not all welcoming. They're not. They're mostly not. It's just not their style, you know. So don't expect them to be that way when you go into their spaces. I don't know what else to say. They'll go out of their way if they're in your space, right? But if you're in their space, just chill and get and do what you came there to do, which was probably to take a yoga class or Pilates or whatever it is whatever bougie activity you've come to do. Okay, so yeah, I feel like Black women can't complain about anything because it's like you better be appreciative. And once again, we're talking about these PWI experiences. Because yeah, I don't have to be grateful to be where my family has been for hundreds of years, like conductive citizens. um I'm a very like I contribute a lot to society. So like I don't have to like bend over backwards, and that's how everyone should feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to bend over backwards to prove myself to anybody. I'm not asking nobody to do that to me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm done with the whole like, let me prove to you that I'm, that model minority that you need. I don't care if you feel it or not. I don't care. I don't. I've seen white women be smiling, and then as soon as they see me, they'll be like, they'll drop the smile. Like that's how gut instinct they have for, you know, um, seclusion. They're not inclusive. They're not an inclusive group. They're not a historically inclusive group. So I don't know why you keep expecting it. They have an Instagram account of like white guys with vests, and some I can't remember who told me about this, but right, like my husband loves it because like my husband's one of them, right? Like when I go to Manhattan and I'm like looking like for my husband, right? Like every white guy looks like they all dress the same, right? And I'm not saying like all white people dress the same. I'm saying all white people that do a certain thing dress the same. I am saying that. I will say that. All white people that do a certain thing dress the same. So that means if they're on the golf course, they're all gonna have similar outfits, right? So there's like, anyways, this is Instagram called like white guys with vests, right? It's something like that. And it's like all these white guys, they're dressed the same. And white women are similar. They like to dress the same. Like they like to be around, they like to look at people that look almost exactly like them. I promise you, I'm telling you, like that's what I'm talking about. When people talk about the white experience, they're often talking about white males, right? I've been around more white women than almost any black person in the world. They like to be around people that look just like them and dress like them and can put their hair in the same ponytail that they're going to wear their hair in. They like to do that. I'm sorry, that's just what they like to do. You know what I'm saying? And they've been conditioned, that certain model minorities behave a certain way and they can be welcomed if they behave that way. And if you do one thing that shows them you're not that model minority, they do not want you around because they know you're not going to play, right? Yeah, it is. It's like white guys with vests. Ken, what's that Instagram account with the white guys with vests? And yeah, they like to dress. I'm telling you. That's what I'm talking about. They've talked about what y'all doing for years. I'm telling you what they do. They like to dress alike and they like to be around girls. Have you ever noticed that? Like all of the girls will look just alike, especially the more money that they have. The more money they have, the more they like to look just alike and dress alike and talk alike and act alike and everything is alike. And like, you know what I'm saying? The parents are alike and the houses are alike and their experience is alike. NYC vest. Okay. Who cares? It might be like NYC vest. And it's like literally a count of just like white guys and they're all dressed the same. And like it's not like set up. It's not like they planned it. This just how they are. Midtown uniform, right. Midtown uniform, right. Yeah. And like Michael Ray. Yeah, I'm Michael Ray. I don't know if you're a white guy, but people in general, like, they don't like when men say hi in general. It's hard for friendly guys. Because usually if you're a guy, you have to be like suave, charismatic, manipulative. Women like men that are manipulative, right? That are like actively manipulating them. They really like that. If you're like a genuinely nice guy, then it's a lot harder. The uniform, right? Exactly. So they like to wear a uniform, and like you can't come over and like have your big hooped earrings and like hey, you know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe if you were doing that whole like Tiffany Haddish like hey, you did it like the way like the video game. It was like do the do the Shanae or whatever, right? If you did it like all the time, then they'd be like, oh, so funny and endearing, But if you're like just trying to like live the same way that they're trying to live, they don't want you around. You look different. You're going to draw attention that they don't want. They don't want that. So I'm just being honest, letting you guys know what's really going on in their minds. And I know because I grew up with them since I was a child. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you're like evil people or anything like that. It's just cultural differences. And you have to understand that and not be like, but it's not mean to them. It's not mean to them to seclude people that don't look like them. It's not mean to them. So knowing that, then what are you going to subject yourself to? Um, I think that it can be a lonely experience at first, but I think you'll get used to it if you go into situations understanding the historical background and context. You know what I'm saying? Like at first I was like, whoa, like I feel like I've lost like a lot of contacts since I've made this choice to not do my NSYNC dance, but after a short while, I found the freedom in not having to perform. I mean, I perform enough, not having to perform for people that I'm not asking to perform for me, you know. There was it looked like she was a black woman. They haven't released her name yet. That was killed by a white male police officer in Texas. And people were saying that she was mentally, something might have been wrong with her. And I think about the opportunities that I've had. And like, what if I didn't have the opportunity to go to a predominantly white institution and get the education that I had? I had, I always look at that as an opportunity. right? And opportunities don't always bring warm, fuzzy butterfly feelings. That doesn't mean they're not an opportunity. That was an opportunity for me. That woman didn't have that opportunity. My mother didn't have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It allowed me to go to a good college and it allowed me to network work with people in these spaces. Even though they don't want to network with you either, quiet as it's kept, they do not want to network with you. You know, it's so funny. I'm going to go off the police topic real quick. It's so funny to me that people will try to friend me from like these spaces where they ostracize me because I didn't look and act like them and didn't do the model minority dance. And then they'll try to like follow me still like on social media and shit in real life because they're nosy. There's no genuine care, compassion, or concern. And I don't know. I just think it's so funny because like you had an opportunity to interact when we were in school and you ostracized on some you're not acting the way I want you to act. But now I'm supposed to let you into my life and to see like I'm not that same girl at all. So get out of here with that shit. I've not had anybody that didn't know how to open their mouth and talk and or be nice, you know. And I mean, literally, I had people much older than me going out of their way to bully me, like in grad school. Like how pathetic is that, you know? And now look at where I'm living, look at how I'm living, look at how you living, and that's God, that's justice. That's karma. That's what you fucking get while you're still living in Bushwick with 5 other roommates. Anyways, in your hipster havens. Anyways, back to the police shooting that happened. Okay, so they haven't released a lot of details about that. Yeah, exactly. Families. I'll talk about families on another topic, Michael. Definitely, I definitely feel you on that. Yeah, so the police shooting that happened, they haven't released the woman's name, but the bottom line is it looked like a black woman, and that was another, you know, black woman. But they love to leave that this stuff is happening to black women out of these conversations a lot. Um, you know, they're not offered, black women are not offered protection that women and a consideration and protection that other women are offered in this country. Um, and that's been historical and it's bullshit. People, her neighbors were saying that she was mentally unstable, and it's like America's not offering all of the descendants opportunities to compete in PWI spaces and therefore be able to get themselves out of these heavily policed areas, maybe get themselves into a nice situation where they're not feeling, you know, like the world is on their shoulders. Okay, America doesn't offer black women a way out of that. We're just expected to get out of that. Okay, well, sometimes maybe a woman won't be able to do that. And I feel like that might be the case with this woman. And she's killed for it. I believe America allows their police, well, I don't believe, this is a fucking fact. They allow their police to kill the mentally unstable um, and the most vulnerable in our communities, in the black community, right? In the community of uh, American descendants of chattel slavery. There was a case of there was a case of there is a case of a woman. She was murdered jogging, Queens, I believe. Very very sad case. Very scary, you know. And they just arrested a mentally ill black guy because they seen him in the area before. And I remember when they did it, it was very soon after it happened. And I was like, no way they caught the guy that fast. And then it was a mentally unstable black guy that can't even like literally this man, I don't even think he can articulate for himself. So and his mother said, "There's no way he did this." Right? So this mentally unstable man who has no history of violence all of a sudden has committed this murder, this bold, brazen murder. I think it was even a sexually motivated uh, murder, if I'm not mistaken. So sexual assault might have also taken place. This mentally disabled man who was caught loitering in the area, who has no history of violence, did this. And they're saying, oh, the woman's reaching for the taser. You can see it in the video. Okay, you're not going to be hurt if she take like if someone tases you. Okay, when the police officers are, they have to be tased to become police officers. So why? Because someone could take your taser and tase you, right? Not saying that like that's okay at all. I'm just saying like that's literally one of the reasons they do it, so that you understand what it feels like and so that you practice discernment before you do it to someone else because you know what it feels like, right? But you can't just kill mentally unstable people because they reached up with their hands. I didn't see her reaching expressively for his taser. Okay. It looked like she was reaching up, trying to like get up or get him away from her or something. It was a melee, and you don't get to kill people because you're in a melee. And why is it always Black people? And people will say, well, they kill other people. Yes, people that are actively shooting at them. Ha! People that are actively driving cars into them. Yeah. They don't kill other people that are sleeping on couches. They don't kill other people that are looking for help. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all just want love to live in delusion. Exactly. Daniel Carley's. So you got to notice that kind of stuff. Okay. And what kind of society would allow that kind of stuff? The dominant members of that society are not trying to be welcoming you. They're kids, and it's so sad too because you're like, oh well, racism is for poor people or racism is for old people. No, it ain't. When will y'all get that? Look at that James Charles dude. He been racist as fuck, young as fuck. Racism is a deliberate choice to act a fool, basically, because I don't know what the fuck else people think they're doing with that. It's not. If a 60-year-old knows something, right? If your 60-year-old grandma knows something, chances are she taught your mom, and chances are your mama taught you. And that happens very quickly. Stop with the whole younger kids could never. And teach your Black kids to want to play with other Black kids and want to be nice to other Black kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I know people that I know have told me that like in their workspaces, they've had people come up to them and be like, why are you three like talking or like break it up? It's a Black people. And historically, they don't want you congregating. Teach your kids to love each other. Teach your kids to want to hang out with Black kids, you know, Block kids, not bad kids. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I behaved very model minority for many years, um, and gained a lot of trust and a lot of insight into the other side of this country, which is why I know what I'm talking about. And when I decided that I'm going to do me for once, and I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to be myself the way I let everyone else be, I lost a lot of fucking friends, and I don't give a fuck. Okay, white friends, black friends, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to talk about racism. It's hard. They don't want to do the work. Okay, but then they want to complain when something happens to them. Then they want to complain when something happens to their kid. You should have done the work. I'm doing the work. I don't have a kid. I don't have, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even, to be honest, I don't, people don't mess with me too much, I still experience it. Don't get me wrong. But I could live a life where I said, happens once in a while. I'm not going to do that. Because you know why? Because it happens 0 times to this guy. That's why. And it should happen 0 times for me every time as well. And knowing that, I'm going to fight for that. I got to go make this steak. Okay. Thanks for coming. I don't know if I'll be able to come on tomorrow. I'm a little busy, but we'll see. You guys rock. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. Until next time, we're live streaming Keeping It Real with Danny Steele. Yes. Exactly, Tiny. The Clark doll experiment. Exactly. Absolutely. And it happens every time you do it. Every time you do it. We got to do better. Our kids deserve better. Real quick before I go, the case with I don't want to talk about it too much, but the case with Malia Davis, okay? And I saw people. I don't really feel like I can talk about that too much because it's just really just too much for me to just deal with and think about. But I like the energy that the Black community is showing about holding each other accountable for what happens to our children. I'm liking that energy, Black community. Okay, we need to do more of that, right? Men like this should never be allowed to be in the community ever. One of the reasons I love Malcolm X, okay, is because when he was in the Nation of Islam, right, they would bring their members forth and hold them accountable in front of everyone else, right? I say bring that shit back. Because y'all gonna stop hurting these kids. Predators. And I saw the Cardi B tweet as well, where she was mentioning this: don't leave your kids with your boyfriends, which is like, honestly, like if you have a boyfriend that's like a predator, you think he's a predator, he's a predator, he looks like a predator, like what are you doing? And I'm like, and now everybody looks like predators. Every time I look at these people in these court cases and shit, they look like a predator. But like I said, keep that energy and keep it going and amplify it, because that's what our kids deserve. Predators are out. I don't go, fuck what happened to you when you were younger. You make the choice to be a good person or a bad person. I know people were dissecting Cardi's tweet because they were like, oh, is she saying that, evil is to blame instead of the man himself for, hurting these children, the children of their girlfriends, right? Is she saying evil is to blame and not the man himself? I don't know. I don't really follow her. But the point is, you make a choice to be a predator. Freak. If you're a predator, you're a fucking freak. You're a weirdo. You're a loser. It's your job to do the work, to get over what's happened to you, to use it to make this world a better place. Not to fucking sit there and be like, they hurt me, so I'm going to hurt everybody else. That's a weird old freak mentality. I'm not saying when people hurt you that you should be like, ah, turn the other cheek. I really just want to make the world a better place for other people. Like, no, I know I don't expect that. But what I expect is for you to say, damn, I've been hurt. I have a lot of anger. I have a lot of pain. I need to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do with this shit because it's not okay right now. It's not okay what I'm doing to myself. It's not okay what I'm doing to my family. It's not okay what I'm doing to my loved ones. And I don't want to hurt anyone the way that I've been hurt. That should be your main focus. Not losing your mind and hurting people because you've been hurt. Someone that I used to follow all the time, and I still listen to his teachings, but I don't follow him as much anymore. But his name is Sid Guru. Okay, look him up. Look him up. Sid Guru. Okay? He's it's like one of these great master teachers, right? He says, watch what you're doing when you're playing with your sanity. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, DJ Fundamentals. Watch what you're doing when you're playing with your sanity. Because if you go too far, you might not be able to come back. This was one of the most real things I'd ever heard anyone say. He said, I see y'all out there. Of course, he didn't say it like this. He's like, he's like doing this thing, but I'm translating it, right? He's like, I see y'all out there. You're playing with your sanity. You better watch it. Playing with your sanity, right? Going crazy. Like this is Love and Hip Hop and shit. Going crazy. Watch it. Because you're going to go too far and you might not be able to come back. There's a tweet somewhere that I saw that was like, you need to be the ruler of your mind, not your mind ruling you. You need to be the ruler of your mind, not your mind ruling you. This is something that Black people don't want to do because they want to God this and God that. God tells you to be the ruler of your mind. That's what he told you to do too. Look it up. Verse, chapter. All right. Everyone else is doing this. You got to be the ruler of your mind. Your mind shouldn't be running you. Your mind shouldn't be, I can't get over. You gotta get it together. You gotta get it together. We can't have a bunch of craziness out here. Our people deserve better. Our kids deserve better. You got to get it together. You must. You must. So listen to Sid Guru. Don't let your mind run you. And anyone that's wicked and is a predator has let their impulses control them. But that doesn't mean they're not responsible for that. They are. And so let us keep these predators out of all of our communities. Okay? See something, say something, like they tell you on the subway, see something, say something. I like the energy that people were having with holding even the mother accountable. But at the same time, we have to remember, she saw something, his mama saw something. You seeing something in these people. Nobody just pops up a predator. Somebody sees something along the way. And if you're close to someone, this is where we demand that men keep each other in check, fellas. You're seeing someone that's acting bizarrely or behaving inappropriately. You got a boy that's talking about how he's doing this and he's doing that, and it's not legal, and maybe he's running around with underage girls or whatever. You got to put a stop to that. Exactly. R.I.P. Malia Davis. Um, call these predators out. Don't let them around your kids. I don't care if you like Cardi B or not. What she said was legit. You increase the chances of your child being hurt if they're around a non-biological male. That's just the way it goes. So, kids come first. And yeah, shout out to Cardi for talking about shit that matters. I like that. I like that. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night. Bye. Keep it real. Danny Steele.